Hello, my name is Natalia. I'm going to show you how to do echo printing. You'll need cotton fabric, flowers, leaves, some sticks, washing soda, dish soap, alum powder, which is often used for pickling that you can find at a grocery store, a plastic sheet, and some string. The tools you'll need are things that you probably already have in your kitchen. You'll want a cooking pot, a spoon, a measuring cup, a measuring spoon, a small dish, a vegetable steamer tray, rubber gloves, and a drying rack. Washing soda is something that is sometimes added to laundry detergent to help get things extra clean. You can find it at larger grocery stores or home improvement stores. The first step in the process is scouring or deep cleaning the fabric. You'll want to add water to the large cooking pot and then add about 2 tablespoons of washing soda for 1 gallon of water. 1 gallon is about 16 cups. After you've added the soda, then go ahead and add a couple of squirts of the dishwashing liquid. I like to use Dawn dishwashing liquid because it has a lower pH, which works better with the dye. Turn on the heat under the pot and give it a stir to make sure everything's nicely mixed. Then you're ready to start adding the fabric to the pot. Make sure that you have enough water in your pot to cover the fabric completely. And once your fabric's in the pot, give it another stir to make sure the fabric sits down underneath the water, and let that simmer for about 20 minutes. After the water cools for a little bit, go ahead and drain the water and the fabric into a sink, and then give the fabric a good rinse to make sure to remove any residue of the soap or the washing soda that might be left. Next, you'll want to hang your fabric to dry. I like to do mine outside if at all possible, because then any drips go on the grass and I don't have to worry about cleaning up any mess inside of the house. And it's also just a nice excuse to get outside on a beautiful day. The next step is treating the fabric with an alum bath. Alum is often used in pickling, and you can get it at grocery stores. The first thing you'll need is about 1/3 cup of the powdered alum, and you're going to add that to a gallon of water. It's easier to mix if you put the powder in a small bowl and add some warm water, and then stir that mixture to dissolve it before adding it to the rest of the pot of water. This makes sure that the powder is fully dissolved, and that's all it takes to create a mordant bath. Give it a good stir. Then you can add your fabric back into the pot. It's okay if it's a little damp from being outside. We just wanted to let any excess water drain off of it. And try to open up the pieces of fabric enough to separate them so that they're all going to get covered as they soak in this bath. And once the fabric is in the pot, go ahead and give it another stir, making sure the fabric is completely submerged underneath the water. Let that simmer for about 30 minutes, and then once the water has cooled, drain the pot of water and fabric into the sink, and then give the fabric a good rinse to make sure to remove any excess soap or washing soda that might be left behind. Now that our fabric is prepared, we're ready to start the actual printing process. You'll want to gather a variety of flowers and leaves. You'll want to have your sticks or dowels cut small enough to fit into your cooking pot for steaming. And it's a simple process of just laying down a piece of fabric, adding flower petals. I find that dahlias and things with nice saturated dark colors tend to work the best. I've also had good luck with geraniums and delphiniums. And another tip is be generous. My first prints, I only added a few petals, and I found through experimenting that more petals will give a richer result at the end of the dye process. Continue adding flower petals and leaves until you're happy with the arrangement, and then lay a second piece of fabric on top, making a sort of a sandwich with the flower petals in between. Then you're going to put your piece of plastic sheeting, or aluminum foil also works for this, on top of the fabric and start rolling it around the dowel. The plastic or foil helps keep the dye from completely penetrating through both sides of the fabric. So it is optional. Sometimes it's nice to just let the dye go where it wants to. The stick is helpful to make a really nice tight bundle so that the flower petals stay in place through the steaming process. You'll want to wrap the whole bundle tightly with a piece of string, winding it up and down the full length of the stick. And then after you've completely wrapped the bundle, go ahead and tie a little knot to hold it in place. The next step is steaming the fabric bundles. So you'll start by putting about an inch and a half of water in the bottom of your cooking pot, and then place a vegetable steamer on top of the water, and then start placing your bundles in the pot. They don't need to go all the way down to the bottom because you'll keep the pot covered and the steam will circulate throughout. So just place the bundles in, arranging them in layers. Then cover the pot and let it steam for about 2 hours, making sure to check the water level so it doesn't run dry. After steaming the bundles, let them cool overnight. It's important to be patient. I did some earlier experiments where I only cooled the fabric for about an hour or two, and I found letting it sit overnight gave much better results. So really, patience pays off at this point. But once the bundles have cooled overnight, you can unwind the string and unroll the fabric, and this is really where the magic happens. You never know exactly what the results are going to be. Each different combination of flowers and even the amount of flowers that you put in a bundle can make a big difference. So I love this surprise element of the unwrapping. And I encourage you to try different experiments with different batches yourself. So you can lift the two pieces of fabric apart and then simply pull away any leftover petals and leaves that might be stuck to the fabric. And then all you need to do is give it a quick rinse in the sink. That'll also help remove any extra organic matter that might still be clinging to the fabric. And hang to dry, and you're ready to start using your fabric in any project you choose. And here are some of my finished results. You can see they almost look like tie-dyes. Sometimes you can see more of an imprint from the actual shape of each petal. And I encourage you to experiment and share your results. I'd love to see what you come up with. Have fun.